A new clip just surfaced, showing Tom Brady and Logan Paul trading brutal shots after Brady bluntly calls Paul a during a training video with Rob Gronkowski.
Have the skills. He's a football.
But seconds later, Logan fires back.
Tom Brady calling me a bitch to Gronk of all people, who I beat up all of his brothers back to back to back.
And what happens next wasn't what anyone expected. Let's get into the details. The moment Tom Brady humiliated Logan Paul, the internet absolutely exploded the moment this clip surfaced online because it showed something that almost nobody expected to see, which was 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady openly questioning the athletic legitimacy of Logan Paul in a way that felt less like playful banter and more like a quiet but devastating dismissal that instantly triggered debate across sports and entertainment communities. This was not the typical celebrity crossover moment where two famous personalities trade friendly jokes for publicity, because the tone of the exchange quickly shifted into something far sharper, and viewers could immediately sense that Brady was not simply joking around, but was instead drawing a very clear line between entertainers and professional athletes. What made the moment even more compelling was the fact that Logan Paul was sitting right there when the comments were made, meaning the tension was unfolding live rather than through social media posts or interviews conducted days later, which made the entire interaction feel raw and unpredictable in a way that instantly grabbed the internet's attention. The clip begins innocently enough, with Brady discussing a celebrity flag football game connected to a Fanatics event that was expected to feature a mix of athletes, influencers, and entertainers. And at first, the conversation sounds like a typical promotional discussion about a fun sports exhibition rather than the start of a viral confrontation.
I'm told that I'm being flown out to Saudi Arabia to compete in a Fanatics flag football game with you.
At that point in the conversation, the tone still feels casual and friendly because Brady appears to be setting up the context of the event, which involves celebrities and athletes playing a lighthearted version of football rather than a high-stakes professional competition. However, the moment the discussion turns toward athletic ability, Brady begins introducing a level of skepticism that instantly changes the dynamic of the conversation, because he subtly suggests that Logan Paul might not belong in the same category as professional football players.
Well, you're a good athlete, but you're like, these guys are another level.
That one statement may sound polite on the surface, but within the world of professional sports, it carries a very specific meaning, because saying someone is a good athlete while simultaneously pointing out that real players are on another level is essentially a diplomatic way of saying that the gap between the two is enormous. For Logan Paul, who has spent years reinventing himself as a serious competitor through boxing matches, WWE performances, and high-profile training videos, that kind of statement cuts directly against the identity he has worked hard to build in the public eye. Logan Paul did not become famous through traditional sports pathways, because his career originally began on YouTube, where he built an audience through viral videos and internet stunts. But over time, he deliberately shifted his image toward athletics by participating in boxing matches against fighters like Floyd Mayweather and competing in physically demanding WWE events. Because of that transformation, Logan Paul frequently describes himself not just as an entertainer, but as a legitimate athlete who can compete with people from traditional sports backgrounds, which is why Brady's comments instantly created tension in the conversation. Logan responds quickly and confidently because he clearly refuses to accept the idea that he exists on a lower athletic tier than professional football players.
I am the highest level. I am the level.
That line perfectly captures Logan Paul's public persona, because confidence, bravado, and defiance have always been central to how he communicates with both critics and fans. However, Tom Brady does not appear even slightly persuaded by Logan's confidence, because instead of backing down or softening his position, Brady calmly begins referencing some of the most explosive athletes currently playing in the NFL. These are players whose entire lives revolve around elite physical conditioning and whose careers depend on performing at the absolute peak of human athletic ability under intense pressure. Brady specifically mentions players like Saquon Barkley and Justin Jefferson, two NFL superstars known for extraordinary speed, strength, and technical skill on the football field. By bringing those names into the conversation, Brady essentially reframes the debate, because instead of comparing Logan Paul to a retired quarterback in his mid-40s, he shifts the comparison toward athletes who are currently competing at the highest level of professional football. Then Brady delivers the line that would ultimately send the entire clip viral across social media.
Cute. It's a great, I love WWE. It's very cute. But honestly, this is like real football.
The phrase "very cute" became the focal point of the internet's reaction, because it carries an unmistakably dismissive tone that implies Logan Paul's athletic career is more entertainment than competition. In sports culture, calling something cute is often interpreted as a polite but unmistakable way of saying that it should not be taken seriously compared to genuine professional competition. For Logan Paul, whose WWE career involves scripted wrestling performances designed to entertain audiences rather than determine legitimate sporting outcomes, the comment effectively suggested that his accomplishments exist in a different category entirely. The internet noticed the implication immediately, and within hours, the clip began circulating across sports accounts, commentary channels, and viral content pages where fans debated whether Brady had crossed a line or simply stated an obvious truth. One widely shared reaction summarized Brady's attitude by explaining that the quarterback had essentially told Logan Paul to come try playing with real football players if he wanted to understand what elite competition actually looks like. But the tension did not stop there, because Brady continued pressing his point in a way that made the entire exchange feel less like playful trash talk and more like a subtle challenge. He began referencing his own football background and the intensity of genuine competition within the sport.
This is real competition.
I was an all-state linebacker. I rushed for 1,200 yards, 19 touchdowns my senior year.
That statement might initially seem like simple storytelling about Brady's past, but within the context of the conversation, it reinforces the idea that Brady's athletic experience comes from environments where physical performance determines outcomes rather than scripted entertainment. The contrast between professional football and sports entertainment becomes the unspoken theme running through the entire exchange. For decades, the NFL has represented one of the most physically demanding leagues in the world, where players endure intense training, brutal physical contact, and relentless competition every single week. WWE, on the other hand, operates as a hybrid of athletics and performance art, where the goal is to entertain audiences rather than determine legitimate winners through unscripted competition. Brady's comment about WWE being cute essentially highlighted that distinction in a way that Logan Paul could not easily ignore. Logan attempted to shift the conversation back toward humor and friendly rivalry by joking about Brady's famous career accomplishments.
Did that I won 7 Super Bowl. Who don't gives a shit? You know what matters? This game, March 21st in Saudi.
The remark was clearly intended as playful exaggeration, because Logan Paul was not seriously dismissing Brady's 7 Super Bowl championships, but the line still added another layer of tension to the conversation. Brady's career achievements represent one of the most dominant legacies in professional sports history, so even jokingly minimizing them can feel like a bold move when the conversation already carries underlying competitive tension. Logan then pushes the rivalry even further by framing the upcoming celebrity football game as a moment where he might finally prove himself against Brady.
I'm glad you're going to be there, and I'm glad you're finally going to participate in like a competition.
That line flips Brady's earlier criticism on its head, because Logan jokingly implies that Brady himself has not been participating in real competition, which is an ironic claim given Brady's 2 decades of NFL dominance. The sarcasm clearly lands because Brady laughs at the comment, but the underlying rivalry remains visible beneath the humor. The entire exchange illustrates something fascinating about modern sports culture, because it brings together 2 completely different definitions of what it means to be an athlete. On one side, there is Tom Brady, whose career represents the traditional pathway of elite sports, where athletes rise through high school competition, college football, and professional leagues before reaching global fame. On the other side, there is Logan Paul, whose rise to prominence began through internet entertainment before expanding into boxing matches, celebrity events, and professional wrestling appearances. The clash between those 2 worlds creates the kind of cultural tension that the internet loves to analyze, because it raises an uncomfortable question about how athletic legitimacy is defined in the age of influencer entertainment. And that question is precisely why the clip spread so quickly across social media platforms, where sports fans, YouTube audiences, and wrestling communities all began debating the same issue. Is Logan Paul actually an elite athlete, or is he simply an entertainer who has successfully marketed himself as one? Tom Brady's comments suggested that he already had an answer to that question, but Logan Paul was not about to accept that answer without a fight, because once the clip went viral and the internet began mocking his athletic claims, Logan responded in a way that pushed the entire situation from playful trash talk into something much more explosive. And that response would ultimately turn a casual conversation about a celebrity football game into one of the most bizarre viral rivalries the internet had seen in months. Logan Paul escalates the feud. the moment Logan Paul finally responded in full. The entire situation stopped looking like casual trash talk and started feeling like the beginning of a genuine rivalry between two personalities who come from completely different worlds but share one critical trait, which is that neither of them likes backing down once their reputation is challenged in public. For Logan Paul, the viral clip of Tom Brady calling WWE cute and questioning his ability to compete with real football players did not just feel like a joke that went slightly too far, because to Logan, it sounded like a direct attack on the athletic credibility he has spent years trying to build after transitioning from internet prank videos into boxing, combat sports training, and WWE competition. The reason Logan reacted so strongly is because his entire modern brand is built on proving critics wrong, and throughout his career, he has repeatedly taken situations where people mocked him or doubted him and turned those moments into fuel for bigger publicity, larger fights, and even larger audiences. But this situation was slightly different because the person questioning him was not just another influencer or a sports commentator looking for attention, but rather Tom Brady, a man widely recognized as the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL and someone whose career represents the gold standard of traditional athletic achievement. That difference mattered because Logan Paul was now facing criticism from someone whose opinion carries enormous weight within the sports world, and if he allowed Brady's comments to dominate the narrative without responding, it could reinforce the idea that he does not belong in conversations about legitimate athletic performance. So instead of ignoring the moment or downplaying it, Logan did exactly what people who understand internet culture often do when controversy appears, which is that he leaned directly into the conflict and amplified it. During a podcast discussion about the upcoming celebrity flag football game, Logan began addressing the growing tension between himself and football personalities who had started reacting to Brady's comments. The conversation initially sounded like a standard discussion about the event, but the tone quickly shifted once Logan began talking about the possibility of competing directly against Brady.
I'm still gonna score that touchdown and beat Tom Brady's ass.
That line immediately caught attention because Logan was no longer framing the situation as friendly competition or playful banter, but instead as a scenario where he could physically dominate one of the most famous athletes in American sports history. Even though the comment was likely meant partly as exaggeration and entertainment, the internet interpreted it as a direct escalation of the tension between the two. Logan then doubled down on that escalation by hinting that the upcoming celebrity football game might not remain a peaceful exhibition if emotions ran high during the competition.
I wouldn't be surprised if I throw hands with Tom Brady on the field in LA during that flag football game.
That statement instantly transformed the story from a debate about athletic ability into something far more dramatic, because Logan was now openly suggesting that a physical confrontation could occur during the event. Sports fans immediately began speculating about what such a moment would actually look like if it happened, because the idea of a celebrity YouTuber clashing with an NFL legend during a televised event is exactly the kind of chaotic spectacle that social media thrives on. However, Logan Paul did not stop with Brady, because he soon broadened the conversation to include football players in general, which only intensified the controversy surrounding his comments. During the same discussion, Logan revealed that he had seen a clip circulating online where Brady and Rob Gronkowski were joking about him.
There's a clip of him out there. Tom Brady calling me bitch.
Whether that remark was exaggerated or taken out of context did not matter to the internet, because once Logan framed it as an insult, the story instantly shifted toward the idea that Brady might have crossed a line. Fans began searching for the alleged clip and debating whether Brady had actually insulted Logan directly or whether Logan was simply amplifying the drama for entertainment. But Logan's real goal did not appear to be clarifying the situation, because instead, he continued escalating the challenge in a way that made the entire conversation feel more like a build-up to a celebrity combat event. At one point, Logan began discussing the possibility of facing football players in boxing matches, which is an arena where he genuinely has competitive experience.
Not a single football
He's a
player
big
could
dude.
beat me in a boxing match.
That statement instantly ignited a completely different debate across sports communities, because Logan Paul was no longer arguing about football performance, but instead about combat sports ability. In boxing, and mixed martial arts experience matters enormously, and Logan has trained with professional fighters fighters for years, while also competing in high-profile matches that attracted massive audiences. Because of that background, some fans began entertaining the possibility that Logan might actually hold an advantage over certain football players inside a boxing ring, despite the physical power and size advantages many NFL athletes possess. But Logan's next claim pushed the conversation even further into the realm of controversy. During the same podcast discussion, someone mentioned Myles Garrett, one of the most physically imposing defensive players in the NFL, who stands around 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighs more than 270 pounds. Instead of treating the suggestion cautiously, Logan responded with absolute confidence.
I would throttle Myles Garrett.
That moment triggered an avalanche of reactions across sports media because the idea of Logan Paul dominating a player with Garrett's physical profile sounded unbelievable to many fans. Garrett is known throughout the NFL for his explosive strength and elite athleticism, and he regularly overpowers offensive linemen who themselves weigh more than 300 pounds. So when Logan casually claimed that he could overpower Garrett in a boxing match, the statement immediately became viral meme material. Sports commentators began joking about hypothetical matchups between Logan and NFL players, while fan accounts flooded timelines with edited clips imagining how such a fight might unfold. Some people defended Logan by pointing out that boxing skill can neutralize raw strength if one fighter has significantly more technical experience. Others dismissed the claim entirely by arguing that NFL players possess levels of explosive power that could overwhelm someone who does not compete professionally in combat sports. Regardless of which side people believed, the debate accomplished exactly what viral controversies always accomplish on the internet. It captured attention. Within hours, Logan Paul's comments were circulating across sports Twitter, YouTube reaction channels, and discussion forums where fans argued about the boundaries between entertainment athletes and traditional sports competitors. At the center of the debate remained the same question that Brady had indirectly raised during the original conversation. Where exactly does Logan Paul fit within the world of athletics? Is he simply an entertainer who has learned enough combat sports techniques to perform in celebrity matches? Or is he legitimately capable of competing with athletes from traditional sports backgrounds? Tom Brady's skepticism represented the perspective of many professional athletes who believe that their sports demand levels of training, discipline, and physical punishment that cannot easily be replicated through celebrity crossover events. Logan Paul's confidence represented the perspective of a new generation of influencer athletes who believe that modern training, media exposure, and cross-discipline competition can blur the boundaries between entertainment and professional sport. The clash between those two perspectives is precisely why the story became so compelling, because on the surface, it looked like a simple argument between two famous personalities. But underneath the insults and bold claims was a much larger cultural shift taking place within sports entertainment. Traditional athletes and internet celebrities were beginning to share the same stages, compete in the same events, and attract the same audiences. And when those worlds collide, tension is almost inevitable, which is why the Brady versus Logan Paul moment did not fade away after the first viral clip. Instead, the situation kept growing, fueled by reactions from fans, commentary channels analyzing every detail, and speculation about what might happen when the two finally appear at the same event. Because now the upcoming celebrity football game carried a completely different atmosphere. It was no longer just a fun exhibition involving influencers and athletes. It had become the potential stage for a confrontation between two personalities who had publicly questioned each other's credibility. And once the internet senses that kind of tension, it rarely lets it disappear quietly. Instead, it keeps watching, waiting for the next moment when the rivalry might escalate even further. The viral drama may have been exactly what both sides wanted. At this point, the internet had already picked a side. Some fans believed Tom Brady had completely embarrassed Logan Paul and exposed the difference between real professional athletes and internet personalities trying to play sports. Others believed Logan Paul had every right to defend himself, especially considering that he has spent years training in combat sports and has stepped into the ring against legitimate fighters in front of millions of viewers. But as the clips continued circulating online and the reactions grew louder, another possibility slowly started to emerge among commentators and viewers who were watching the entire situation unfold. What if this entire moment was not simply a heated exchange that spiraled out of control? What if the tension was actually the perfect kind of viral drama that both sides understood would explode on the internet? Because when you step back and examine the personalities involved, the situation becomes much more interesting. Tom Brady may have built his reputation through discipline and professionalism during his 23 seasons in the NFL, but since retiring from professional football, he has begun begun stepping into an entirely different world where athletes are expected not just to compete, but also to entertain. Brady has appeared in celebrity roasts, podcasts, promotional events, and social media moments that show a far more relaxed and playful side of his personality than fans saw during his intense playing career. That shift matters because it means Brady understands something that modern athletes increasingly recognize, which is that sports today are also entertainment businesses where attention drives value. Logan Paul, on the other hand, built his entire career around understanding exactly how attention works on the internet, before boxing matches, before WWE appearances, before becoming one of the most recognizable influencers in the world. Logan Paul learned how viral moments are created and how controversy can transform ordinary conversations into massive online discussions. That background makes Logan one of the most experienced figures when it comes to turning tension into viewership. So when Logan Paul and Tom Brady began exchanging comments that questioned each other's abilities, many viewers initially assumed it was simply a clash of personalities. However, the more the clips circulated and the more people discussed the situation, the more the entire moment started to resemble something that happens frequently in modern entertainment culture, a perfectly engineered viral storyline, because the timing of the exchange could not have been more ideal. The comments were connected to a celebrity flag football game that was already being promoted as a fun crossover event featuring athletes, entertainers, and influencers. By introducing even a small amount of rivalry between two famous participants, the event suddenly gained a new level of intrigue that made people far more interested in watching. Instead of viewers tuning in just to see a friendly exhibition game, they now had another reason to pay attention. They wanted to see whether Tom Brady and Logan Paul would actually confront each other when they finally stepped onto the same field. Would Brady continue dismissing Logan's athletic ability in person? Would Logan try to prove himself by making a big play during the game? Or would the entire situation escalate into an argument that cameras could capture live? Those questions transformed what might have been a niche celebrity event into something that suddenly carried viral potential, and the internet responded exactly the way you would expect. Sports discussion accounts began posting clips from the conversation and asking followers whether Logan Paul had any chance of competing with real football players. YouTube commentary channels began analyzing every line from the exchange and debating whether Brady had intentionally disrespected Logan or whether Logan was exaggerating the conflict for attention. Fans from completely different communities suddenly found themselves arguing with each other online. NFL fans defended Brady's perspective by pointing out that professional football players spend their entire lives training to perform at elite levels. Logan Paul fans defended him by pointing out that he has trained seriously for boxing matches and has proven willing to compete against high-level fighters despite coming from an entertainment background. The debate quickly became one of those strange internet conversations where nobody actually changes their mind, but millions of people still participate because the argument itself is entertaining. And that reaction may have been the most important outcome of the entire situation. Because whether the tension between Brady and Logan Paul was completely genuine or partially exaggerated, the viral attention surrounding their exchange benefited everyone involved. For Logan Paul, the controversy reinforced his image as someone willing to challenge athletes from traditional sports backgrounds, which is exactly the kind of storyline that keeps audiences interested in his boxing matches and WWE appearances. For Tom Brady, the moment allowed him to display a lighter, more playful side of his personality, while also reminding fans of the enormous gap between professional football and celebrity athletics. For the celebrity football event itself, the viral clips generated publicity that no marketing campaign could easily replicate. Millions of viewers who might never have heard about the event suddenly became aware of it because they wanted to see how the story would unfold. In modern sports entertainment, that kind of attention is incredibly valuable. The reality is that events today compete not just with other sports competitions, but with every form of online entertainment imaginable. Streaming shows, viral videos, gaming content, and social media debates all compete for the same audience. So, when something unpredictable happens between two major personalities, it instantly becomes a promotional advantage. And that is exactly what happened with the Brady and Logan Paul exchange. What started as a simple conversation about a flag football game turned into a viral storyline that blurred the line between sports rivalry and internet entertainment. But the most fascinating part of the entire situation may be what it reveals about how modern sports culture is evolving. In previous generations, the divide between professional athletes and entertainers was clear. Athletes competed in sports leagues. Entertainers performed in movies, television, or scripted events. Today, those boundaries are increasingly overlapping. Influencers compete in boxing matches against professional fighters. WWE performers appear in mainstream sports coverage. NFL players participate in entertainment podcasts and celebrity events. The worlds of sports and entertainment entertainment are no longer separate ecosystems. They are merging into a single cultural space where attention, personality, and performance all contribute to an athlete's public identity. Logan Paul represents one side of that evolution because he built his reputation through digital media before crossing into athletics. Tom Brady represents the other side because he built his legacy through traditional sports before stepping into the entertainment world after retirement. When those two worlds collide, the results are almost always unpredictable. And that unpredictability is exactly why the Brady versus Logan Paul moment became such a viral story, because viewers were not just watching two famous people argue, they were watching a symbolic clash between two different eras of sports culture. One era defined by traditional leagues, championships, and decades of discipline. The other era defined by viral content, crossover events, and internet-driven fame. When Brady called Logan Paul's athletic career cute, he was speaking from the perspective of someone who had spent decades competing in one of the most demanding sports leagues in the world. When Logan responded by claiming he could outperform Brady or even challenge NFL players in combat sports, he was speaking from the perspective of someone who understands how modern audiences engage with entertainment and competition. And the truth is that both perspectives resonate with different audiences. Some viewers will always respect the legacy of traditional athletes like Tom Brady above all else. Other viewers are fascinated by the rise of influencer athletes like Logan Paul, who blur the boundaries between sports and entertainment. And right now, the attention surrounding this rivalry is exactly what keeps millions of people watching to see what happens next. If you enjoyed watching this video, then go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen for more.